So picture this. You're sitting on your couch, you're scrolling through X, or maybe swiping through TikTok.
Or honestly, even just hanging out IRL.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe you're sitting with a group of Gen Z friends and everyone is just, spilling the tea about some group drama. The conversation is moving super fast.
Right, the drama is thick.
It's so thick.
Right.
And amidst this whole rapid-fire exchange, you just keep hearing this one very specific phrase dropped over and over again. Somebody leans in, lowers their voice, and simply says, "Clock it."
It definitely creates this weird moment of cognitive dissonance, especially the first time you hear it in the wild.
Oh, totally. Because, if you are anything like me, your brain does a little stutter step. Phonetically, it sounds like someone is just abruptly asking you for the time.
Right, your instinct is to look at your wrist.
Yeah, or check the corner of your phone screen.
Yeah.
But spoiler alert to anyone who hasn't been immersed in this yet, they are absolutely not asking you for the time.
Far from it. The phrase operates on a completely different frequency.
Which is exactly our mission for today's deep dive. We're taking the source material we've got and unpacking this viral slang that has basically taken over timelines, group chats, everything.
It really is everywhere right now.
It is. So we're going to trace its cultural origins, explain the exact meaning, and decode the surprisingly expressive hand gesture that goes with it. The goal is to make sure you never look totally lost online or in person ever again. So, okay, let's unpack this.
And, this is such a rich area for analysis because we aren't just looking at some fleeting, meaningless trend.
Right.
The sources make it clear that this isn't going away. This phrase has earned a solidified spot in the Internet Vocabulary Hall of Fame. It has a distinct structure, unwritten social rules, all of that.
But before we can understand how to actually use it, we have to understand exactly what it means and where it came from. Because language like this doesn't just pop out of nowhere.
No, not at all. That evolutionary history is vital. Our sources point out that clock didn't just appear on TikTok. It actually originates from drag and ballroom culture.
Which is such an important detail.
It really is. And understanding the origin matters because it reveals how some of our most expressive mainstream internet language is forged in these highly observant, tight-knit subcultures.
Yeah, where being sharp is kind of everything.
Exactly. In ballroom culture, the ability to observe, to quickly analyze someone's presentation and articulate that observation, that was basically a form of social currency.
Right. So what is the core, literal slang definition then?
The core definition is to notice, to recognize, to point out, or to accurately identify something. Usually something that isn't immediately obvious to everyone else.
So it's kind of like a verbal highlight.
Oh, that's a great way to put it, yes.
But, okay, I do have a question about that.
Yeah.
Because if the literal definition just boils down to, to notice, why couldn't someone just say, "I saw that"? Why the new phrase?
Well, "I saw that" is pretty passive, right? It just means your eyes worked.
Yeah.
Clock it is way more efficient. It acts as this powerful shorthand for, yep, I saw that, I analyzed it, and I fully get the hidden implications.
Ah, okay, so it's not just seeing, it's comprehending.
Right. Saying clock, it implies this high level of sharpness. It denotes acute observation that a simple "I saw it" completely lacks. What's fascinating here is how the phrase transforms a simple observation into an actual event.
Like a shared achievement.
Exactly. You're acknowledging someone's perceptiveness.
So understanding that basic definition is one thing, but obviously the phrase changes shape depending on the context of the conversation. And the sources gave some really good examples of how people are wielding this.
Yeah, it has a very interesting dual nature.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because it can be super playful, but also a little sharp.
It definitely has a spectrum.
Let me pull two quotes from the sources to show this.
Yeah.
So on the playful side, you have friends analyzing social media, and someone says they unfollowed each other. Clock it.
Right, a classic example.
But then on the sharper end, the source gives this scenario. She said she wasn't annoyed, but she rolled her eyes. Clock it.
Those two examples really perfectly illustrate the underlying mechanics here.
Yeah, break that down for us.
So in the first scenario, the unfollowing one, it's basically a shared inside joke. It functions as praise for someone's digital observation skills. You spotted the hidden detail, and your friend is giving you immediate props for perfectly reading the situation.
Yeah, it's like collaborative detective work.
Exactly. But the second example, the eye roll, That feels entirely different.
It feels a little more like a call-out.
Because it is. It becomes a sharp tool used to call out behavior that simply cannot be ignored. You're spotting a direct contradiction between what someone is projecting and what they're actually feeling.
Right, like cutting through the PR narrative. And the sources show this being applied to everyday drama, but also massive pop culture trends. Like, the text had this example. He claims he's over it, but he's still posting about it every day. Clock it.
Which we see all the time online.
All the time.
And dropping clock it there perfectly encapsulates that collective side-eye everyone is giving. It's incredibly versatile.
But verbal validation is only half the story, right? Because to really drive the point home, this slang has evolved a physical component. It's like slang with built-in choreography.
Yes, the hand gesture. This is where it gets really theatrical.
Let me try to visualize this for you, the listener. It looks a lot like the tiny gesture on your emoji keyboard. You know, the hand pinching a small amount of space.
Right, the universal symbol for something small.
Exactly. But instead of using the pointer finger, it utilizes the thumb and the middle finger. You tap them together repeatedly. Tap, tap, tap.
It's a very deliberate, percussive motion.
It is, and it made me wonder, can this gesture just replace the phrase entirely? It almost feels like a silent alarm going off between friends across a crowded room.
The sources confirm that yes, it absolutely can. You can use the gesture while saying the phrase right after it for emphasis, or just let the tapping speak completely for itself.
So you don't even need to say a word.
Not a single word. The intent is made entirely clear by the facial expression of the person doing it. A raised eyebrow, and that finger tap speaks volumes. And if we connect this to the bigger picture...
Yeah, why does the gesture even exist?
It acts as a physical exclamation point, both online and IRL. It silently screams, "Did you catch that?" Or, "Pay attention, the evidence is right there."
The evidence is right there. I love that.
It adds this necessary layer of theatrical emphasis to an obvious point.
So what does this all mean for your actual daily interactions?
Yeah.
Because with such a powerful theatrical tool at your disposal, it raises a really critical question. When is it socially acceptable to actually use it?
Yeah, you really have to know the boundaries.
Because if you don't, you're going to embarrass yourself.
Absolutely. The environments for clocking need to be pretty specific. We're talking texts, social media posts, reactions to trending moments, or just informal conversations with friends.
Places where everyone kind of shares the same baseline understanding.
Right. You can use it as a question to see if someone noticed the same thing, or to validate someone who, said exactly what everyone was thinking.
But the source text has this huge explicit warning. And I kind of love this part. It says, unequivocally, do not use this in serious work meetings or professional settings.
Oh, it's a recipe for disaster.
Just picturing it is hilarious. Like, imagine tapping your fingers at a coworker during a quarterly budget review.
It's the ultimate context collapse.
Exactly. But wait, there was also this curious phrase in the source that I want to bring up. It said, "It's not clocking to you." What happens when someone completely misses the mark?
Yeah. That phrase is super important because it provides context on how this slang is policed. It relies entirely on shared reality.
Right.
If someone misses the obvious detail or points out something that makes no sense, the clocking completely fails. Saying it's not clocking to you is basically the community's way of saying you don't get it.
You swung and you missed.
Exactly. You don't have to tap your fingers every single time you agree with something. You save it for when you really want to underline an observation or give someone the ultimate Gen Z seal of approval.
Which makes sense. You don't want to dilute the power of the phrase by overusing it.
Precisely.
Well, this has been an amazing breakdown. Let's summarize all this for you. You are now fully equipped. You know how to identify, use, and physically perform clock it. You understand that it's really all about recognizing what's right in front of you and sharing that like aha moment with your friends.
And keeping it out of the boardroom.
Yes, definitely keeping it out of the boardroom.
But, looking at all this raises an important question.
Ooh, I love a good final thought. What is it?
Well, our sources make this great observation that slang is constantly recycled, and it resurfaces with new generations.
Right, like how we saw here.
Exactly. Clock It earned its massive internet fame by resurfacing from drag and ballroom culture. So the provocative thought I want to leave everyone to mull over is this. What other highly observant subcultures out there right now are using brilliant shorthand phrases? Phrases that are just waiting in the wings to be recycled into the mainstream vocabulary of the next generation.
Oh, wow. That is a fantastic point. There is definitely some incredible slang being used right now in a group chat somewhere that's going to take over the world next year.
Undoubtedly.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Now it's your turn. The next time you're out there, I challenge you to go out and clock the hidden details in your own world today. Catch you next time.